to do all this. So thanks for being here, guys. I'm so happy that you showed up. You showed up for you. And, I say that not lightly because we do everything for everyone else, right? And doing something for us, sometimes it feels like it's um, a little bit selfish, maybe, or like indulgent. But the reality is that when we do things for us, it helps fill our cup back up so that we can still give to our family, to our people that we are that we care about, that we love. And in this case specifically, this dream reset, I am tailoring towards people raising their grandchildren, but it's not just for people raising their grandchildren. This, you can take this information and apply it really to any part of your life, in any part of your business. So I'm glad that you guys are here. And what I did, and I like sharing this with people because I don't, I am a coach, and I like to help people understand that everything I do, you can do. This is not like I have some knowledge that nobody else has, and I you just need to listen to me, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about being 100% transparent, that what I share is because it's things that have happened in my life and I've learned from them, and I'm sharing with you. And you can do this also. So if you're someone who wants to also coach people, or you want to be out there online and you don't really know how to handle everything, well, guess what? I don't either. We all learn together, and I, have notes. So I'm going to be referring back and forth to my notes, because I know a lot of times I see people on here coaching and I'm thinking, how in the world do they remember everything? How in the world do they not get lost? Well, you know what? They have notes. They're just not telling you that. So I'm going to be referring back and forth. But if at any time you guys have questions, you want to ask something, you want to share a story, you want to share something, please just raise your hand. You can do it literally, raise your hand, or if you want to put your little yellow hand up, you can. And let's share, because I want this to be interactive. I don't want this to just be me up here talking and you guys listening. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. But please feel free to share, ask questions. So, first of all, thank you for being here. I know are busy. We all have busy lives. And so, thank you. I truly appreciate you. Um, so, today we are talking about shifting our perspective on our life, because I feel like, especially with people raising grandchildren, there are so many times that we feel like we get so caught up in the day to day struggles. Why did this happen to me? What now? How am I supposed to go about my retirement dreams? You work for years to get to a point in your life where it's time for me, right? It's like it's time for me. And then suddenly situations change, and it's really easy to get stuck in the why me and the poor me and all the struggles, when the reality is that our struggles are really our strengths. They are our superpowers. And it's just a matter of shifting your perspective a little bit in order to see it. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But for those of you who may not know me, I am going to share a little bit about my story, just so you know how I kind of got to where I am today. Um, Again, my name is Norma, and it was back in 2023. I was at a job that I had been at for over 20 years, and I'd been in dentistry for 35 years. And this particular office I was in, I loved. I loved my coworkers. I loved my boss. I loved my patients. I called them my people. They were never patients to me. They were my people. And I loved what I did. And I live in an area, Andy, you know what I'm talking about here, but we live in an area that's very transient. And it's also very much jobs kind of come and go. There's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of opportunity here, but at certain times of the year, the the plants, the chemical plants, because we're on the Gulf Coast, there's a lot of plants down here. So a lot of the people get cut towards the end of the year, and they know that. They go into the job knowing that towards the end of the year they're going to lose their jobs and hopefully get it back in January, February. And people would come in the office all the time and they would tell me their story about how, I'm about to lose my job, and or I feel like it's about to happen, or it just happened. And you have a lot of empathy for these people, because it's hard to raise a family when you don't know that you're if you're going to have a job for 3 months out of the year. And I would always feel bad for them, but at the same time, in my mind, I would say to myself, like, gosh, I'm just so fortunate that I have this job that I don't have to worry about that. I've been here for 20 years, and I'm just so fortunate I don't have to worry about that. I was wrong, because I should have been worrying about that. And that's something that I do share with people every chance I get. Just because you feel very secure in your job, it doesn't mean that it is very secure. So in 2023, after being at my job for 22 years, my boss called me in and told me he was going to basically restructure me. He was keeping me, but he was restructuring what I did, and he was going to take a third of my paycheck. And when he told me that, I knew I wasn't going to take it, because first of all, it made me feel very devalued, and it made me angry. I mean, I'll be honest, I was angry. But more than that, I felt like, wow, he doesn't feel my worth. And I've been working for this man for a very long time. But my struggle was that my husband and I are raising our grandson. And at the time, he was a year and a half. And I didn't know what I was going to do, because my husband and I are at that point in our life where, um, we are getting ready to retire, but we're not ready to retire, and we still have a kid to raise. So that's when I left my job. I chose to leave, and I decided I was going to find a way to work from home. And that's how I found this online space. And I ended up starting in digital marketing, and I knew, like, immediately it really wasn't for me. I also do some network marketing, and I love network marketing, and I love my um, product that I promote there. But my passion, my true passion, what I love is coaching people to be accountable for yourself and step into something that makes you happy, and do it because you can. It's never too late. Just because you're over 50, I'm 58, about to be 59 years old, it's never too late to learn something new. And, I had been in dentistry 35 years. I thought that's where I was going to stay. I thought that's where I would be forever. But once I got out of it, I realized, you know what? It wasn't making me happy. This was a blessing in disguise. And so now I coach people in into stepping into the life that you deserve, and do what it is that makes you happy. And then, of course, this week we're specifically talking about people raising their grandchildren. So, can any of you relate to this? Like, have you guys been in situations? You can either talk about it, nod your head, just put it in the chat, whatever you're comfortable with. But is it something that anybody can relate with? Just like, I want more. There's just got to be more out there. There's got to be. Because I know that was me. I just knew, like, dentistry was not. It wasn't making me happy. It was what I knew. It was where I was comfortable. So
Mm.
I'm back. Okay, glitch 3. Let me check.
Is it
Let me
still
make
recording?
sure. Okay, it's still recording. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so that is how I came to be here in the online space. That's how I found my passion basically because I didn't know that at the time when I left my job. I didn't know what my passion was. I just knew that I wanted more. And so this has led me to what I love doing. And so hang on, let me switch to my notes here. Oh, yes. I wanted to talk to you guys about my grandson. So, 3 years ago, I found out about my grandson. And, initially, just like most people, um, you you just think, your life's not over because that's very dramatic, but kind of like, okay, it's supposed to be about me now. Now what? Now we're raising this child like a baby. He was a newborn, and we were like, oh my gosh, like how are we going to do this? And so we had decided that it was going to be one day at a time. Like we're not going to think too much into this. We're not going to be too like think too far in the future, and we still don't. We still really try not to think far in the future. We try to take it one day at a time, literally one day at a time. And for us that has worked, but the biggest thing for me has been my mind shift. I have to stay in a positive mindset because challenges happen. It happens because of the fact that there's a child involved, but also because of why we're raising him, how we came about raising him. We all have different stories as to how we came about raising our grandchild or grandchildren, because there's people out there, I don't know about you guys, but there's people out there raising multiple grandkids at one time. My husband and I just have one. But the thing is that if we let all the negativity, if we let that get to us, then we can't live the happy life that, number one, we deserve to live, but also it's almost like we need that in order for us to be fulfilled. If you've noticed people out there, because I know you have, there's lots of people this way, and they just have that poor me. They everything is a disaster. If you say anything small that something happened, then they're the ones that come back with, well, that's happened to me and it was even worse. That's just how they live their life. And it's not something that's healthy. It's not healthy for us physically. It's not good for our body. It's not good for our heart. It's not good for our mind mentally. Um, and there's so much happiness around us. And that's what I have learned is that if I just start to kind of go down that trail of, because we all have times where things happen and we aren't feeling happy. I mean, it's just not realistic to think that we're going to go through every day of our life and be happy. That's just not real. Things do happen, and that's okay. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel these things. It's not bad. It's not that happiness is the only thing good and all these other negative feelings are bad. It's just you don't want to stay there. It's just you want to make sure you pick yourself up and get out of it. And for me, what I found that helps me is I get up and I walk outside and I look around, I look at the sunshine, things that make me happy. And it may not be that that's what makes you happy. You might like rainy days. You might like nighttime and looking at the moon, but I like to go outside. I look at the sky. I appreciate it. Like I appreciate the sunshine. I appreciate the flowers. I appreciate my dog. My dog makes me happy. My little grandson, when he's smiling, those are the things that I think about in order to get to the happiness and get past the negativity or past the poor me. And for me, it was so important to have this platform because I want other people that are like me, like you, to know that you're not alone. Because I think that there are a lot of people out there who do feel alone. They may know that there are people out there raising their grandkids, but if they don't have connection with them, then they feel very lonely and very secluded and lost. And I want to bring people together to be able to share, but I'm also wanting to share the positiveness, if that's a word, I don't know, the positivity. I want to share the positivity because, yeah, there's a lot of places out there because I've seen it. I've been in those groups where people can share all the negative. Well, then this happened and that happened, and then they ended up going to jail, and then they da 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 da. And it's like, all that does is it encourages more people to say, yes, that happened to me. And no, this happened to me. And then this, well, guess what? This happened. And then before you know it, you've just got a big ball of negative energy, not just around you, but around a whole situation that just kind of took on a life of its own. And all that's going to do, guys, is it's going to create more of that. So in my life, I like peace and calm. I like peace and calm. In fact, one of the things recently, I'll share this real quick with y'all. Recently, we put our little grandson in pre-K 3, because he turned 3 in May. And over the summer, I thought about putting him in right away. And then I thought, no, I'll just keep him at daycare another year. But he was ready. And so we waited about a month. So the school had been going on about a month before we got him into pre-K. And it's a small private school. And he, the other kids had all gotten to know each other, and he was the new kid, which he was fine. I mean, he loved it. He started right away. But the teacher was, getting to know him, and she came to me day after day after day, and it was like, went on for probably a week, of her saying that he is acting out, like, kind of like, whenever, here's how she explained it. There were two kids screaming, and she was trying to calm one of them, and then my little grandson kind of went and pushed the other one that was screaming. And so she said, we're working on boundaries and not putting our hands on other kids. I get that, right? But he's 3. And then after a few days, she's like, you know what? I think the trigger is loud noises. I don't think he likes loud noises. And I said, he doesn't. And I'm thinking, who does, right? But I said, no, he doesn't. Like, the leaf blower, he puts his hands on his ears. The hair dryer, he runs. He doesn't like it. So no, I said, he doesn't like loud noises. And she said, well, we're thinking that that's his trigger, that the loud noises are his trigger. And I'm like, well, it could be. So it became like this whole thing of, what is his trigger? And I'm thinking, how about we stop the loud noises? Like, why are we having to figure out how we can deal with this with him? How about we stop the loud noises? They do like pep rallies and stuff, because it's a small private school. And so he's 3. He's never been to a pep rally. We're not loud people. We're very calm. We're very quiet. Every now and then it may get that we have to, say, yell his name so we can get his attention. But other than that, like, we're very calm people. But it was just funny listening to the teacher, because I'm like, not everyone's that way. There are people raised in chaos. There are people raised in very loud, noisy situations. It's a choice, right? I choose peace and calm. I don't want my life to be chaotic. I've had enough chaos in my life. I don't want that anymore. But it's a choice. And so we can switch the perspective. We can switch how it is that, we look at our life. We can change how we live our life. Now, there are definitely situations that we have no control over. But what we can control is how we react to those situations. So that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I think that if we work a little bit harder on, just looking at the perspective and looking at how we can choose happiness, then we are going to live our life better, whether we are raising our grandchildren or not. But I do understand raising the grandkids. There is a lot that comes with it. There's just a lot. There's a lot to the backstory. The backstory of how we came to raise the grandkids, and we are going to cover that later in the week. In fact, tomorrow we're going to be talking about how we can kind of find a common ground or find some peace with relationships, because we've all again, whether you're raising grandkids or not, we've all had issues with relationships that we would like to try to heal. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. um, the other thing that I kind of wanted to share with you guys, and I know that you're aware of, but it's friends, because we are at a different point in our life than our friends are, or our other family members. And it's something that people cannot relate to. You don't. Um, People are all the time just super interested, I guess is the best way, and curious about, how we came about raising our grandson. They want to know, like, how in the world do you do it? Because it does take a lot of energy, because we aren't the same as we were when we were 25, 30, 35 years old. It's not the same. Our energy levels are lower. But again, your energy levels are a choice also. You can choose to feel tired. You can choose to feel energized. You just got to get up and move, or, again, there's ways that you can change that. It's all a mindset shift, right? And, but yeah, the reality is that your good friends are going to be there. And you may not be able to have that same type of friendship that you had with them before, but that's okay. You will find new friends who understand. Family wants to be supportive. I don't know if any of you guys can relate to that, but family wants to be supportive. And I can't tell you how many times we've had family tell us, like, hey, if you ever want to do something, go somewhere, we're here. We're here to babysit. But the reality is they aren't. They're not. They're living their retirement dream. They're doing the traveling. They're gone all the time. Or they have their own grandkids that they're spending their time with, or they have their second house somewhere that they're gone to for the weekend. And so it does become that. It does become, we don't have our parents to depend on like we did the first time around. The first time around, we had some help. We had people we could depend on. We could share babysitting duties. Hey, can you watch my kid today and I'll watch yours tomorrow? That doesn't exist anymore. And that's okay. But I just want you to know you're not alone. You're not alone. I get it. I get it. But don't stay in the negativity of it. You're going to hear me say that. I can't tell you, even in my personal life, how many times a day I say that to my family. It's fine. Get frustrated. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. Get angry. Because sometimes that anger is going to boost you into that next shift, into the shift out. Whatever it is you get upset about, it's okay to feel it. It's real. It's real. But just don't stay in it. I had someone one time tell me, give it the attention, give it just enough, give the struggle, whatever your struggle is, give the struggle just how should I say it? It's not coming out right. Give the struggle the amount of attention that it deserves. That's how it was said. The amount of attention that it deserves. If it deserves for you to give it 2 hours of you being sad or you being frustrated, then give it 2 hours. Don't do anything productive at that time. Like if you're, wanting to like create your content or create emails and send, don't be doing that, right? If you got to stay in it for a bit. And don't have the long conversation with the person that the problem is about. Don't do that. Just stay in it and deal with it, and then get out of it. Or if it's 30 seconds, deal with it, get upset, get out of it. How do you get out of it? Happy. Happy. every time. Write it down. Make you a happy list of whatever it is that makes you happy. If you can't remember it, like I've done it enough times now that immediately I know what I'm going to. I look outside. Oh, look, there's the blue sky. There's the white puffy clouds. There's the green grass. There's flowers. That's what I go to every time. I think of the beach because I love the beach. I just think of things that make me happy. And so I have, well, I don't have it with me right now. I have a special cup that I always have with me, and I love that cup. And just surround yourself with things that make you happy. It doesn't have to be big, it can be little things. And then when you do get frustrated, you have something easily to go to. And if you're a person that likes lists, write it down. Make a vision board. Whatever it is that works for you, but just don't stay in the struggle. But yeah, I liked the whole, that to me made total sense. Just give it the amount of attention it deserves, because not everything deserves the same amount of attention, right? So I want to ask you guys some questions. It's kind of like homework. Okay. You don't have to answer them here. You can if you want to. But what part of your life have you been labeling as a struggle? And think about that. What part of your life have you been labeling as a struggle? And what if it was actually your superpower? What if all this time that you have been labeling your struggle as, maybe it's, it's easy for me to say raising your grandchild because that's kind of what we're talking about this week. But, let's say you're raising a grandchild and you have always thought that that was your struggle. What if that is your biggest superpower? Because you know what? You had a choice. You had a choice. You could have said no. You didn't have to do it. There's people out there. There's a lot of people out there who won't. They'll say no because they know that they can't do it. Whether they're not strong enough, mentally, emotionally, financially. But you know what? You didn't say no. You said yes. And now you can empower other people. Maybe your struggle that you think is your biggest struggle is that you have done everything to try to lose weight and you can't lose weight and you've just tried. And what if that is your greatest superpower, because you're ready to step into a different person who, number one, just can show other people that you don't have to be a number on a scale to be empowered, to be beautiful, to be worthy, to feel loved, to inspire other people. What if your struggle is your greatest superpower? Flip it. Flip it. Because the thing is, guys, is that we all have them. It doesn't matter in our life. We all have struggles. We're not broken people. We are all whole. There's nothing wrong with us that needs to be fixed, right? And I think that a lot of times I used to be that way. I used to feel like I needed to fix myself. There's something wrong with me. I need to fix myself. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes we just need to shift our perspective and know that we're much stronger than we give ourselves credit for. We are, all of us, much stronger. Number one, we're here. You're here and you're learning and you're wanting improvement in whatever aspect of your life it is. You're looking for it. That's the number one biggest step. And it's the hardest step because it's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror and see the ugliness and see the stuff that's deep down in us that we don't show to other people and want to change it. That's hard. It's really hard. So the fact that you're here, bravo to you. Does anybody have any questions? Anything that you guys want to know about or you want to share or anything? And if not, that's okay too. It's your opportunity if you would like. All right.
I,
Thank you, ladies, for being here. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that I really love that. What you said was, what if your biggest struggle is your biggest superpower? Like you could do a whole series on that. That was
Ooh,
thinking that would
yeah,
make a really great title for
that's
a
a great
series.
idea. I hadn't even thought that far ahead with it yet, Andy, but I love that. Ooh, that could be
Yeah,
our next challenge. What if
yeah.
that
What
could
if?
be the next challenge? I
Mhm.
love it. I love it. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here. I'm going to stop the recording and then hang on. I'm not a very, there we go.